What's up? This is BoxingWave. I wanted to close out the moment, the weekend, and stop talking about it and move on. Okay, the fight was a close fight. A lot of people didn't think so. Very controversial. But we have a lot going on in May. We have the Arreola Stavern fight coming up. We have the Marquez Alvarado fight coming up. We have the George Groves Carl Froch rematch coming up. So I wanted to move on from the moment weekend, but I'm gonna give you my final thoughts, bring up some keynotes that things that I've read from people, and just close this all out, man. All right, first thing I wanted to speak of is the conspiracy theorists in boxing. The people that believe there's some kind of conspiracy in the outcome of the fights and the judges and the fighters, and in this case we're talking about Floyd Mayweather. When he makes these comments about keeping fights close and competitive, giving them what the fan wants. I remember him saying that after the Cotto fight. We know he had a bloody nose in that fight, and we know he was against the ropes often in that fight, and Cotto did pretty well compared to the other guys that have fought Mayweather in recent years. And Floyd went and said that he wanted to give fans a good fight, and now in this fight he pretty much said the same thing about Maidana, and it's going to make people believe that there was some kind of conspiracy going on behind this, because and this is what I've heard from people, people saying that Floyd purposely made the fight close. Okay, he purposely did it in order to get a rematch. Okay, he backed himself into the ropes purposely and made it look like Maidana was a problem. He made it look like he was vulnerable in order to get a rematch, in order to avoid other fighters like Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, Erislandy Lara, Manny Pacquiao, all of these other guys. That is what people believe. That's what I've been told by several people. Okay, it's not just, and I've not only that, but I've seen it in comments in other people's videos as well. I've seen it on Twitter. People believe this. Now, I just wanted to say, like, in regards to that, boxing is a form of entertainment. Okay, at the end of the day, this is not politics. Okay, this is not the government. This is not like some movie you've seen where there's some kind of conspiracy going on. And and I'm not saying that's false, but if you're gonna judge the outcome of fights based on that, like something that you believe, like some idea that you came up with on your own, just because Floyd said he wanted to keep the fight close, I'm gonna base things off what I see in the ring. Okay, if Floyd really does that, and it's funny because the people that are saying this are defending Floyd. They think Floyd won, and they're giving excuses of why Floyd made it closer than what it was. Okay, first of all, you're defending Floyd, but you're discrediting him at the same time, because you're saying that he's a coward, that he would go take these lengths of purposely making a fight close in order to avoid other fighters. You're showing that you're not defending him here. You're calling him a coward, because why go such great lengths just to avoid other fighters? That's one thing. Second thing, how much risk you're putting by making a fight close, especially a competitive fight with a high volume puncher. You're making a risk, taking a risk of losing yourself when you do that. And I don't think Floyd would do that. Floyd does want to retire with 0 losses. Is this? That's the way. That's what his whole career is based on, him not ever losing. So I don't believe that. I think the fight was close because Maidana has improved. He prepared. He trained well. Let's give Maidana some credit here. The fight was close because Maidana did a good job, not because Floyd let it be close. Okay, if that's the case, he would have did the same with Canelo. He would have did the same with Guerrero. Guerrero, a guy that people didn't think belonged in the ring with Floyd. He would have made it close in that fight, So stop making all kind of excuses and rumors on why, and making your own crazy conspiracy on why Floyd won the fight and what he plans to do next. Okay, regardless if there is a rematch. All right. Another thing too, you know, the fight, you know, a lot of people leave comments, and you know, I'm cool with a lot of, you know, you guys, even when you insult me, I'm fine with that. You know, I have thick skin. You know, I've heard words from better. I don't really mind the insults or anything like that. You know, a lot of people disagree. When a lot of people kept it real with me, and they're like, listen, you know, I love the channel, but I disagree with you. Listen, this is why I make the channel. This is why I make the videos. This is why I read the comments and respond, because I like to hear other people's views on the fight. You know, I can see how it could have been 116, 112 for Floyd. You know, Maidana doesn't have a particular, like, a style that I particularly like. Like, I like to watch Floyd, the Rigos, I like to watch the boxers, the guys that hit and do not get hit. You know, I like to watch those fighters. You know, we know Floyd was much efficient. You know, he was going to be more efficient. He's always more efficient. You know, when I watched it the first time, it didn't. When I watched it the second time, I still thought Floyd was more efficient. When I watched it the third, I still thought Floyd, it was more efficient. Floyd's style is the prettier style to watch as far as his style. You know, he's a very accurate puncher. You know, like Arislandi Lara, he doesn't throw a lot of punches. He tries to land everything he throws at the same time. He's usually more efficient than whoever he is fighting. But Maidana's style is not, you know, Maidana does have a sloppy style, okay? He is a brawler, you know, at heart. He's improved, but he's still a slugger. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, but there's different styles in boxing, and even though I prefer Mayweather style, I can see why people thought Maidana either won or it was a draw. Like, you know, I can understand. I can watch a fight and just not, you know, basing on what I like. You know, I prefer Floyd's style. When I saw Maidana having Floyd against the ropes, throwing those overhand rights that were landed on the back of Floyd's head, I cringed, you know, because, you know, his style is just not for me. But I'm not going to take that away. I'm not going to take away what he did, you know, and the way he likes to fight. You know, he's fought many times and he's beaten a lot of people using that style. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even fighting Amir Khan. Amir Khan did win the fight, but at the same time, Marcos Maidana gave Khan trouble in that fight, you know, especially later in that fight. It just, you know, it is what it is. All right. You guys, and D-Style made an excellent video talking about this. He made a video speaking on the percentages, how you can't just base it on percentages and efficiency, because each round, it's a round by round basis. You know, Floyd might be more efficient, but if this guy is doing more work than him, you can't base it on, like, if Floyd throws 2 punches or 3 punches and lands all 3, he's 100% efficient. Okay, but Maidana is throwing more, and certain rounds he was landing more. I gave Maidana those rounds. I felt that he outworked Floyd, you know, in some of the rounds. You know, I'm not looking at the CompuBox. I'm not basing everything on CompuBox. I'm basing it on what I see that's going on in those 3 minutes per round, you know. So that's why I came to that conclusion on the fight, you know. So I mean, I just wanted to make that clear, those last few points clear. As far as the moment, I want to move on from it. You know, it's over. It's cool, you know, if you didn't like the videos that I put up, that's cool. You know, if you unsubscribe, that's fine. It's a very close fight, you know. It's, you know, and one last point I want to make up before I stop this video. You guys that go in there and say, well, you know, I watched myself. I actually watched the fight 3 times. The 3rd time I watched it was before I did the breakdown of the round by round, and I watched it and I had to rewind it, certain parts of it several times, certain rounds, but because I had to make notes while watching the video. But you got to understand, You guys that go in there and say that I watched it 5 times. Floyd won 116, 112. Okay, cool. But you saying that you watched it 5 times and came out with the same decision, you know, it doesn't make you any more credible. You know, we got guys that are professional boxers. We have trainers that saying that the fight was a draw. You know, there's guys that have the credentials that said it was, that I agree with, you know, and there's guys that have the credentials that I disagree with. You know, it's all perspective at the end of the day. And, you know, it was a close fight. If you didn't think it was a close fight, you wouldn't have watched it 5 times. So you telling me that you watched it 5 times doesn't make it any more true that Mayweather won the fight. You know, it can go either way, in my opinion. It could go either way. Some people ask me how I felt about the judging. I have no problems with the judging. Judge scored it. I think it was, the scores was 117, 111, 112, 116, and a draw. At first, I thought it was a problem, but after watching it again, I realized that it could have gone either way. If you like Floyd's style, you can have easily called it 112, 116. You know, if you like Maidana, you could have called it 115, 113. You know, it could go either way, man. You know, I think I think it could have been a draw. I think Maidana could have barely edged it, or I think that Floyd Mayweather could have won by several rounds. You know, it could have gone either way based on what you like, what impressed you. Okay, so that's the way I call it. This fight was a close fight. Whatever way you score it, I think it was a close fight, especially in comparison to all of Floyd's other fights. Okay. There's a reason why there's an outrage and this is so controversial, because the fight was actually close, okay? Look at Chino at the end of the fight. Look at Floyd at the end of the fight, all right? You're not basing it all off that neither, but it was a close fight, all right? I'm done speaking about it. I would like to move on. There's a lot of boxing coming up this month. Like I said, I just found out that Gamboa and Terrence Crawford set the fight in June now, so I'm gonna throw a video on that up. All right, expect more videos. Expect I'm gonna do the look out for the Pacquiao Marquez rivalry. I'm gonna do a video talking about all of the fights for that. I'm gonna start doing more retro videos, so look out for that stuff. All right, but I'm getting out of here. I'm done with the moment, man, and peace.